जय हिंद, जय भारत। थोड़ा सा आज जो माहौल है देशभक्ति का, मैं सोचता हूँ एक बार भारत माता की जय हो जाए जोश के साथ। भारत माता की, भारत माता की। वेरी नाइस। ऑनरेबल मिनिस्टर ऑफ स्टेट फॉर होम अफेयर्स श्री जी किशन रेड्डी and other dignitaries on the stage, and the patriotic population attendees of the Hyderabad. आप सबको मेरा जय हिंद, जय भारत। I am thankful and grateful to Bharat 2025 for having organized this talk on end of Article 370, impact on emerging India, and inviting me to deliver the keynote address. Before I go further, I would like to bring out, which you have heard many times, but I thought I should also share my views, that this was the, I think, boldest step I have ever seen in my life, in my 59 years of age, and 70 years since independence, and maybe in the history, that the government has taken to remove the Article 370. It's not easy. It was a very tricky decision. And I mean, that's why people, at times one is surprised why no action was taken earlier. It shows the will of the government to remove terrorism. It shows the will of the government to bring normalcy in the Kashmir. It shows the will of the government to bring Pandits back to the Kashmir. It's not happened, and we are so happy that Shri G Kishan Reddy is here amongst us, who was part of the planning of the whole process and the brain behind, and probably that time we could guess that probably they would have had many sleepless nights, the way they were moving between Srinagar and Delhi, and 24/7 inputs were there, and they had to work out that. I'm really grateful to you, sir, for having contributed and absolutely bringing pride to the Andhra Pradesh. And this was this kind of guts I have seen as a common man and as a soldier. The government has shown these guts many times, whether it was a Notebandi, whether it was GST, which is a long-term positive effect for the economy, or when the Uri happened, the strategic surgical strikes were there. When the Pulwama happened, the Pakistan thought they will do surgical strike, and we did the air strike, which first time in the history of the India. They never thought that we could do this kind of guts we will show. This is the thing which is there. Then triple talaq, again for the uplift of the Muslim woman. And now removal of 370. The thing is that it shows the proactiveness of the government. We are proactive. It is not the same India which जो कहते हैं हमें पीट के चला गया, जो आया पीटा जिसने हम हमेशा हार गए. It is different. It is different. We show our assertiveness. We show our power, and we say that अगर हमको एक चाटा मारोगे हम 3 मारेंगे, तुम्हारी दुकान बंद करेंगे, तुम्हारे मोहल्ले से तुम्हारी बातचीत बंद करा देंगे. This is the thing which is happening. Why? इसको अगर मैं दूसरे शब्दों में बोलूं कि अगर if you strike once, we'll strike thrice, and then we'll hit you financially and diplomatically we'll isolate you. मोहल्ले में दाना पानी हुक्का पानी बंद, आपका दुकान बंद सब. और ये हुआ है on ground. This has happened. This is not that something out of the way I'm talking. This is happening on ground. And once this thing is done, all these actions were very well planned. When we talk of Article 370, intelligence was collected, the things were built up, the details were already planned well in details. Large number of forces were moved. Of course, to prevent the casualties, it failed the militants' design. It failed the design of the militants, it failed the designs of separatists, it failed the designs of ANEs. Because they would have tried to take out rallies, they would have tried and forced the security forces to fire on them in self-defense and cause casualties and make it a media headline and international issue and human rights issue. This kind of planning, such a detailed planning was done, and the design has totally failed. And the financial trail to the militancy was cut down totally. They've identified from where the money is coming to the stone throw, from where the money is coming for this. That kind of thing has been done. And now, after that, multi-pronged thing, diplomacy was there. The whole world is supporting, whether it was a Balakot, the whole world supported, now 370, whole world is supporting India. Whether it is the Muslim countries, whether it is Europe, whether it is America, UK, Japan, France, the whole world is supporting us. It doesn't happen overnight. This kind of relationships have been built over a period of time. Number of visits by the Prime Minister, number of events which have taken place, and India is not what it was earlier. Now we can walk with our heads high in any country, then we say that we are Indian. That's the kind of pride which we have got. And what has happened now? Because of proactiveness, if Pakistan thinks that India can do this much, we do this. We are put them on reactive mode. They don't know. Militants are not understanding what to do. The Pakistan does not know what to do. Other day, you would have seen the Pakistan Prime Minister himself admitted in the parliament that Bharat ab Balakot se bhi bada kuch karne wala hai. I mean, earlier they were saying that nothing has happened in Balakot. Now the Prime Minister himself accepted in the parliament, in their parliament, that this is what is. It's, I mean, at times they are making themselves, because they don't know what to do. They're making a laughing stock of themselves. So when I talk of myself, I've had, as brought out by Amarnath ji, that 7 tenures in Kashmir, in all parts of Kashmir. Jammu side, Valley side, on the border, Kargil Daras. So what happened, that the perception at present is the whole Kashmir is under problem. As we read the media, as we say, Kashmir mein ye ho gaya, Kashmir mein ye ho gaya, aaj patharbaji ho raha, aaj julus nikal gaya, encounter ho gaya. But as brought out by Shri Sudhakar ji also, that Jammu side, you all know, all of those who have been to Jammu, Udhampur, Akhnur, Mata Vaishno Devi, Chinani, Patni Top, all these areas are absolutely comfortable. There is no problem. You wouldn't have heard a single encounter there. Including Doda Kishtwar have been quietened down now. Nothing is there. You go to north of Srinagar, Kargil Daras, again there is a Muslim population is there. Yes, Shia population is there. There is no problem. I used to walk there. Girls have tied Rakhi on my hand. They say, you are our protector, you are our savior. That's the kind of thing. And then further up, Leh Ladakh, of course, Sudhakar ji has already brought out. And in Kashmir Valley also. Ladies and gentlemen, my first posting was in Uri. Then I have served in Tangdhar, Kiran Sect. These are the border areas where the population is Pahadi population. They are not Kashmiri. They are different. They don't even know Kashmiri. They are also totally neutral. And it is only 4 or 5 districts, whether Anantnag, Srinagar, Shopian, Kupwara, and then if you see the small towns, Sopore, Baramulla, all these places are there where the problems are there. There is a very plain area. Yes, problem is there in these areas. The youth have been misguided. They have been shown the morph video. The mind has been brainwashed. But when I was there, when I interacted with the parents, when I interacted with the elders and other people, they say, Janab, बहुत हो गया, अमन चाहते हैं हम अब, बहुत हो गया. क्योंकि what happened that nobody wants the child to become a terrorist. Nobody wants the child to become a militant. Nobody wants the child to become a stone thrower. They want the children to become a doctor, engineers, businessman, lecturer, join army. Whenever there is a rally for the joining army, there is thousands of people line up to join army. That is the kind of thing. So it is at times the pressure of the militants is there in the villages, in the small areas where they cannot go against them. That is why the army has been doing the pointed operations against the militants. And when we talk of, as brought out by Sunil ji, that in 1982, I had joined army in Uri. It was like जन्नत, जमी पे स्वर्ग है जैसे आपने बताया था, वो मैं अभी फारसी में नहीं बोल पा रहा हूँ, पर उसका मीनिंग यही था कि if there's any heaven anywhere it is on earth, and it is a fact. The very beautiful country, beautiful culture, Sufiana culture, people would live in harmony, peace, the music is wonderful, the food is wonderful, and I've had many friends over there. Then the militancy started in 89-90 when the thing started. The worst sufferers were the Pandits, which has been already covered. I mean, if you see in your own country, your brothers being killed, your sisters being abducted, your mothers taken away, and on the motorcycles, people are roaming around on the road and say, go back, get out of this place. The banners on the advertisements on the newspapers are there, either you leave the place. That kind of thing is there. And it was a responsibility of that government that time to protect. For them, all citizens are equal, irrespective of caste, color, creed. For a government, that is the kind of thing which it could not be done. And then they suffered in their own country, they became refugees. You can imagine sitting here, it is very difficult to, because I have seen somebody who had a beautiful house in Srinagar and other places, now living in tents. Imagine living with family in tents, there's no education, no health, hygiene conditions, somebody is falling sick, there's no source of income. Things were very tough. But that hats off to your resilience, sir. And you came up, you still proved your worth, and with this decision, you will get your lost paradise back. I can also relate this little bit because my own family had suffered. In 1947, my mother saw her parents being killed in front of her eyes. My mama, her brother, were running between pillars and stabbed number of times and left as dead. Her sister taken away, never to be found again. My mother herself was taken to a basement. And I don't know for what would have happened. She was just 7-year-old then. I can relate. Then again, her father was a principal in the school, in the village. The local people, again of the same community, they took my mama, who was unconscious, to the hospital, stood guard with the guns so that no more attack come on him, and informed the army, Gorkhas, about the mother, and she and some more girls were rescued and taken to the camp. And then how they joined, how the whole family got united, that's a story in itself. But I can relate to the problems which you people had faced. And my mother, when she used to tell the life story, we used to have this thing. It's very difficult to explain the feeling. But now you suffered. But the people who were stayed behind, they also suffered a lot. It is all because of militancy. Dahshatgardi ke karan, everybody suffered. Irrespective of religion, caste, color. Imagine if you're going to buy a vegetable and you are checked twice. You're taken out from the bus, you are searched. If you're going from one place to another, you don't know what will happen tomorrow, you don't know about your children's future. There's a bandh call given by militants, next is a curfew call, there's something else happening, and the misguided videos morphed videos are being shown. That's the kind of thing. There's so much of uncertainty, so much of stress, which was there amongst the local people. Not easy. Not easy thing. Imagine if you're going from one place where you are checked twice and frisked thoroughly, how will you feel? Kind of humiliation. Yes, as a security person, I would say that we were forced to do it because of militancy. At times it was need of the hour to ensure a secure environment there for their own safety, own security. At times we had to carry out the cordon at midnight to carry out the operation against militants for the safety of the lives of the other people, to prevent any collateral damage. We had to request them to come out of their houses and sit in one side so that the militants only can be killed innocent lives are not lost. Because our Jawans are all from villages. 100% Jawans are from villages. They can relate the lives. They become local person. They are also like a farmer. He's like a small shopkeeper. At times, it has nothing to do with these things. They're all political games. And nothing to do. But he is caught in the whole scenario of some families, because if you land in Srinagar, how he's caught is, if you land in Srinagar, you feel that you have landed in Switzerland. What Sunil ji had brought out, the kind of money which was garnered by few families, total corruption. And if you go ahead, you find that people are still living in the 1947 condition. There is no development, no education, no health facility. So that is a kind of thing, the corruption which has been again, they have been put at right place. And with the removal of Article 370, this kind of transparency will be there to remove the corruption. Then we talk of, now these days when we talk of this removal of Article 317, number of apprehensions are being created. Number of apprehensions are there. Somebody says the whole land will be bought by Punjab and whole land will be bought by people from outside. The Kashmiris will be left without any land and all that. I was discussing Mr. Laif Saab se baatcheet ho rahi thi. He's also trying to convey the message that yes, how can, I mean, firstly, Andhra is also a state, Telangana is also a state, Punjab is also, has the land bought by somebody, some outsiders. I mean, how can it be? Kashmir is like a state, like a Telangana. Kashmir is also a state like Telangana or Andhra or Punjab or Assam. And unless you want to sell, who will buy it? And again, for the long-term development, that kind of transparency has to be there. That kind of right to sell should be there. Somebody wants to sell, he cannot sell. That is also there. Somebody wants to establish a factory there, he is handicapped. Somebody wants to establish a private college there, there is a handicap. So these are kind of things which are there. So some people say the culture will be lost. I mean, I again don't understand that by removal of 370, how will the culture will be lost? That is totally beyond my imagination. I think these are the things which are being created by some of the anti-national elements and some vested people with vested interests who are trying to create this issue. I mean, have we lost our own culture here in Telangana, in Andhra? Our food habits remain same, our music remains same, our dance forms have remained same. Just because we are a state and we are equal to all the other states, it doesn't make any difference. So these are things which probably people are trying to say. Then some people say so many security forces have moved in, it is a threat to us. Has anybody killed anyone? In fact, it has saved the lives now. It has failed the design of militants, as I brought out earlier. Move of security forces. Is the security forces killing machine? Has there been a single incident where there is some sort of mass killing have been there? In today's open environment, when the media is there, everybody is there, human rights are there, not a single incident where a single mass killing has been there, just like they are talking Jallianwala and all this thing. Not a single incident. Indian Army, Indian security forces are very responsible, very restrained. I mean, at times you feel कि इतना पत्थर खा के भी कैसे बंदा रुका हुआ है, हाथ में बंदूक का गोली चलाए दो चलाएगा. इनफैक्ट वो चलानी चाहिए थी शुरू में, ताकि वो शुरू में रुक जाता तो वो स्टेज नहीं आती. एक चीज को इनिशियली अगर आदत डाल दो तो आदत पड़ जाती है. एंड दिस इज व्हाट now we talk of what is the way ahead. सुनील जी ने बताया था क्राउन है, भारत का ताज है कश्मीर, लर्निंग सेंटर रहा है. और ये ताज में थोड़ी सी कमी थी, शायद थोड़ा सा फिट नहीं हो रहा था. It has been rectified. Now the crown of the India is there. We are so proud that Kashmir will remain on top and it will give us the learning. The Kashmiris will go back, they get their paradise back. And now the government has done it, has shown that guts. But there is a need for tangible results. There are 2-3 issues which are there. there would be a requirement of showing some tangible results, which are happening. Today only I was reading in the newspaper that Aadhaar reach would be there so that the benefits could reach the people. The farmers, this thing, subsidies are already reaching the people, those who have opened the Jandan account, 4,000 rupees, this thing, Farmer Samman, Kisan Samman Yojana. Then those are central schemes which will reach the people. And other thing is, investors meet is there in October. The people already planned and sort of investment in setting up the factories there. That kind of thing, unless this employment is created, unless these tangible results are there, the youth has to wean away from the militancy. एक बार कोई काम करने लगे militancy से अलग हो जाएगा. Once you start doing something constructive, then he will stop the militancy. Then we need to, as this thing, 370, जैसा अगेन बताया था सुधाकर जी ने कि डाउन ट्रॉडन जिनकी कोई आवाज़ नहीं थी, बक्करवाल की, स्वीपर्स की, सियालकोट वालों की, पंडित्स की, वो एक आवाज़ मिली आज उन्हें, एक अधिकार मिला है, एक राइट मिला है. दे गॉट द राइट टू बी पार्ट ऑफ द कश्मीर. आई मीन इट इज अगेन रिडिकुलस. If you live in America, after some years you get the permanent resident. In Kashmir, even if you live for 30 years, 40 years, your next generation will also not any kind of permanent resident. And no rights would be given. That's a kind of thing which was there within India, part of India. And this was happening. Their rights were, of their own people, people are living in the Kashmir were being denied to them. The conditions of Bakkarwal, Pahadis, and of course, this thing there. So now the government, what is there is, with this voice being given, जो सरकार का है, सबका विकास, सबका साथ, सबका विकास, that is the aim which will be achieved in Kashmir. We need to, government has done it. Now, we have to show responsibility. We need to firstly support all out. They need our support. We got to be united. There are enough elements, whether the Pakistan and separatist elements, and within us only, Jayachand and Mir Zafar are there, who are trying to create problems, who are trying to find some technical point, something, why this should not be there, when the whole country is for it. So we need to be united, we need to think of that. And people of Kashmir, they would require that emotional support. This is an emotional issue, which has been made emotional. Actually, it's not an emotional issue, it is for their good. They need hand-holding. And we need to people connect is very important. We need to, from here, from the mainland, we need to connect with them. And no unnecessary loose statement should be there, which should hurt their feeling. If work has been done, we need to act responsibly. We need to behave in a responsible manner. That is what is the need of the hour is. And I would say that at times things look difficult, but I would just bring out, I was in Chhattisgarh in Naxal area for 3 months. In 3 months, when I reached there were banners, Bharatiya Sena वापस जाओ, ये Bharatiya Sena green Operation Green Hunt का हिस्सा, ये वो दुनिया भर का पूरा बंद 10 दिन का बंद. When I left after 3 months, people were crying, कहते don't go back, sir. That is possible. So this is, I have no doubt in my mind, the government has taken the decision and this will succeed and we all need to support it wholeheartedly. And in the end, I would just say, why we should support wholeheartedly? Because national interest comes first, always and every time. That is the most important. Thank you. Jai Hind, Jai Bharat.